Okay, it's a little bit after 5, and I'm going to call the September 8th meeting of the Tree Advisory Commission to order. And roll call.
Commissioner Pasley,
Present.
Vice Chair Clark. Do we excuse her or?
Is there a motion to excuse Vice Chair Clark from tonight's meeting? I
Yes,
believe she
did
indicated.
inform me that she would not be here, so I move that we excuse Commissioner Clark.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Chair King,
Here.
Commissioner Peak,
Here. Okay, the next item is the approval of the agenda. So I know there was an agenda last time. I didn't realize, when I saw the notes, I didn't realize there wasn't actually a meeting, so I don't know exactly if this matches the same, because we didn't move through that agenda. So I hope that's what I was looking for, is how closely this agenda matched that one. I'm hoping that Kelsey was able to tell you, at least Barb, about our meeting with DNR. Okay.
Yes, she did.
Okay. So this agenda, I think, roughly goes along with that one. So you need a motion to approve the agenda.
I motion to approve the agenda.
Cool. I second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Public comment? Anybody online?
there's no one online at the moment.
Okey-doke. And then approval of the minutes.
So question on format, if technically we didn't have a quorum last time, do we need to approve last time's minutes, or are we approving the previous meeting's minutes?
So, and I don't, you're correct. We would be approving the previous meeting minutes because we did have a quorum and those were not approved at the last meeting. And I believe we put both meeting dates on the agenda, didn't we? For the approval of the minutes? Did we?
So there's 8:25 and then below it is 8:11.
Okay. So the minutes of the 8:11 meeting, you could approve because you have a quorum. The minutes of the 8:25, where you did not have a quorum, those would not be approved, but you could just probably in the record say there was no quorum. Those are unofficial meeting notes to document what was discussed.
Okay. And they weren't both from August, right? So it's July 11th, so that should be a correction.
Yes, that's a
there.
typo.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So I know it's a ways back. But did you get a chance to look at the minutes from the 11th beforehand so that we can approve those? Because we were all here for the.
I believe I'm going to ask Zach to my right here to double check on the dates of the minutes so
Okay.
that we have the right dates reflected in our.
It was July 14th
Oh, the
and
14th.
August 11th.
Yes, so July 14 and August 11, and in the approval of the minutes for this agenda, we did not note that the July minutes need to be approved. So my recommendation would be just to table those until our next month's meeting.
Okay.
To be able to make sure that you receive those July meeting minutes
Okay.
for approval.
Okay.
And we have on the agenda the approval of the 8:11 minutes, but since there was no quorum, I would just recommend that you, again, just say that these are not minutes that would be would be adopted because there was no quorum, but they're just informal notes.
They were notes,
Mhm.
so they don't need an approval.
So I motion that we table July's minutes for next meeting for approval, and that we do nothing but acknowledge the August minutes because there was no quorum.
August notes. Okay, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Probably don't have. Those are the things that matter later. Actually, don't have a pen today. Okay. Let me thank you. Okay. So tabled. Okay. So first item for discussion is the fall market. And I know Kelsey said she was willing to do part of the shift, but she didn't want to do the entire time, and I don't blame her. And so there's shifts and there's messaging, what we want to talk about at that time at the market. So I'll open that up for discussion. The date of the market is this coming Thursday or?
Sunday, I think.
Oh, is it Sunday? Oh, okay.
Zach can give you the date of the market.
Yep, it's on September 14th from 11 to 4.
Okay. So that is a Sunday? Okay. So. I don't think I have anything going on, so I can certainly help out. And Kelsey's willing to help out, so that's 2 shifts.
I believe Kelsey said she could help out in the morning. Is that right?
In the early part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause,
so
and
like-
then I will be out of town, but I will be coming back home, so I can help out in the second half.
The second half? Okay.
I can't commit because of some family things, but I might be
Okay.
able to show up.
Okay. So we have an AM and a PM, and I can do a bridge in between, like noon to 2 or something like that. So. Sorry. Okay, 11 is. Oh, Zach, do you have a spare pen over there? I'm like penless tonight. Okay, and then. Gosh, thank you so much. Okay, so we have shifts. Is there a message that we want to talk about? And I'll just kick that off a little bit. I started with some of the survey question kind of stuff, just asking people, like, do you have a tree in front of your house? Do you know who owns it? What do you know about your tree? You know, and what information were you given about caring for it? And it was a mystery. To the few people that I got around to asking. So might be a thing to do is just to, and I had to reach out to grab people and put them in our second or third market, whichever one I was at, where we were away from your guys' booth. We had a lot less foot traffic. So position wise, I'd like to be closer to where the community booth is. And then having the actual little tree out front is still a big help. And we had the blister bags for watering and a root feeder. And I think that really helped by being able to grab that and show people. And, but the few people I did manage to talk to just hadn't considered watering the tree or caring for it in any way. So that's one of the messages we could do. We could talk about, I don't know, do they still need water through September?
Until the fall rains start,
Yeah, so.
although it's getting cooler.
Mhm. So,
The older trees probably don't. It's probably the younger trees.
yeah, as a matter of fact, somebody was talking to me today about still all the dead trees up on Hoffman Hill, which is just really sad. And how uncared for it looks up there.
Birch trees. Or I'm not sure. I know exactly which trees those are.
They're street trees up on Hoffman Hill. There's one whole street I know of where they're all, I think where the Lennar homes were put in. Yeah,
We could bring up
Mhm.
the GIS map if you wanted to look at.
well, that's the only one that comes to my mind is the very end up there, the most recently planted trees. And the other thing that's happening, so I put out a notice on, and this is this is not street trees, but trees in general. I put out a notice about my Bosque pears on Buy Nothing because I usually give them away after we glean the tree. And I had people talking to me about pears they had planted. And, what we plant encourages or discourages pests. And so it was really interesting, some of the tree choices that people were making to plant here. Now, I don't know if we want to, that's just a side note on, what people are putting on their property and how it impacts the entire community. So that's another topic, but probably not enough time to prepare for that one. So those are my thoughts.
Do like that idea. I don't know if we could make a quick list of like this area friendly fruit trees, or
Um,
if that is a bit more of a project than I think.
There might be some lists that already exist for our region.
Okay.
I know they don't like us to plant apple trees. People don't look after them, and then you just get more and more apple maggot. So, so that was good. There weren't apple trees in this particular list that this person was planting, but,
It's among arborists and urban foresters, it's a highly debated topic
okay.
because we want to encourage people to grow their own food and to
Mhm.
have healthy options at home. And it's part of our heritage here in the Pacific Northwest. At the same time, they are very high maintenance trees that often have diseases and insects that require annual pruning. And most homeowners do not want to do that and don't often realize what they're getting in for when they plant a fruit tree.
So you're talking fruit trees in general, not just apple?
Yes,
Fruit trees on personal property. Yeah.
I personally love them.
Yeah.
But I also know what to do and how to prune them, and that doesn't bother me.
Sue, instead of saying not, maybe how, like in Germany, I obviously just came back, and there's whole garden forests of cordon street trees that are particularly manageable, right? They're like 3 feet tall and covered in fruit. And it's like how you do it matters. And so maybe that would be an info session for the October. Maybe we could get something together for that with, do you mind looking up like what?
For next meeting,
Yeah, for what happens with fruit trees on property. So those are the two things that come, what you plant. We have our lists of like what we want planted or not planted, and but I don't think the ROA does for the rest of the property. I don't
Yeah.
really want to get into the ROA's business either.
I
So-
also wonder if the things that you listed, like the care that fruit trees need, if that could also be just a good little like information card for the
Yeah.
fair or for the farmer's market. Just, it's like with anything else, just informing what it takes to take care of something.
yeah. I don't know if we could get something together in time for the farmer's market.
Mhm.
We had discussed doing topics for the newsletter.
That would be
Oh, yeah.
And
that'd be-
doing seasonal things for fruit trees could be a good topic. Like I know particularly for January and February, that's when you
Mhm.
want to prune your fruit trees.
Yeah,
So maybe I could try to have something like that ready for December so that people can read it early and then be prepared.
Yeah. Oh, I
Or-
think that would be a great idea for the
yeah.
newsletter. Yeah.
And that could even be like little things that we could recycle from year to year,
Mhm.
even just include a link to a previous newsletter.
Okay. And did the watering one go out in the last one? Oh, okay.
It
good.
did.
Okay.
Mhm. I think that's a really nice thing is if you are able to send content, we can make sure that the content gets pushed out to be in our newsletter. We do one every week. But, you know, so I don't necessarily expect that you would want to have something every week, but even if we were to be able to have monthly tree news go out, maybe the
Yep.
first issue of every month or the last issue of every month, just so we're on a regular schedule, that might be really helpful and educational.
One thing that could be worth discussing at the farmer's market is if we want to do anything for Arbor Day, if we want to do a delayed Arbor Day this year. Which I know that's the next agenda item, so we don't have to go too much in detail there, but that could be something to share with people. Like, hey, we missed April this year, so we're gonna do like a Christmas in July Arbor Day.
So last year, we did spend some time last year talking about novel ways to do Arbor Day that didn't involve tree planting. And I think we ended up doing a walk and talk. So I don't know if we want to look at that because well, actually, we're coming up on prime planting season. But yeah, let's transition from the market and then circle back to the market if we come up with something for Arbor Day. Would you see the market being the Arbor Day activity or?
Not unless we had more things planned to really kind of zhuzh it up.
In a week.
And-
I mean, I'm good at zhuzhing, but.
Yeah, I mean, the fall tree walk could be a good thing to do.
You, maybe if you could figure out the event and a day, then we could prepare flyers for you to hand out at the fall market that you're going to have this Arbor Day event. And if you were able to come up with, you know, the day and time and just, you know, what you wanted to do without having all of the details, at least people could get it on their calendars that you were planning to do something. And you maybe could have that ready to hand out Sunday.
Okay, ideas.
Kind of a weird question. You might not have the answers to this. Are there any tree planting needs that the city was already planning to do for city trees? As far as like replacing trees that they might have removed or planting in the parks?
No, we don't have anything scheduled.
Because that would have been the low hanging fruit.
Mhm.
Instead
Yeah.
of city
Mhm.
staff planting a tree, it's like, hey, leave that for us and we can do an outreach event.
Yeah.
And there's
My original plan had been putting the name plaque on the half moon tree at the school. But it's not looking good enough to do it right now. And the DNR folks that were here had definite, I saw somebody's put something on it. They had some definite things we needed to do to save it. So I really don't want to do that with the kids and everything and then something happened to it. So we'll let it go another year. So, but that was my original sort of plan way back. Um,
I do think a tree walk could be fun if we schedule it for a time like not late in the fall, but later in the fall when the leaves are falling, and then we could make it a fun little art thing where you do the coloring over leaves and stuff like that. So maybe we can,
Could be a scavenger hunt for leaves,
that would be
Mhm,
cool
mhm.
too.
different tree species.
That's
Elsie would
actually a lot of
probably like
fun.
that.
Actually, so I was a little bit hesitant to volunteer to do stuff because um, my wife's having a baby soon.
Mm.
Um, but that could be something that could help identify where certain tree species are, what things would be easy for people to find ahead of time.
Yeah, that would be great. And then you can just email us or
I-
something. Yeah.
Might not be able to be present depending on when we do that event.
so we would call it the Arbor Day Tree Scavenger Hunt? No, tree.
I wonder if it could be like an activity um,
Like an art.
to give like to parents that their kids could do while they're on Thanksgiving vacation.
Give them an activity.
Like a
to do,
worksheet.
So
Um,
If we did that, is that something that we would want to try to hand out at the farmer's market or have like a separate event and that's something that also goes with it?
I don't know. It was just an idea.
Yeah.
is could so on the tree inventory, the Palisades Village trees were not identified by species. Um, I'm still trying to, I just want to come back to the street tree awareness thing. If I can roll that in with a scavenger hunt of tree species and awareness and like walking a few streets and saying what the street trees are on the street. Would that, is there? I don't know.
That was kind of what I was thinking. It's like
Yay.
street trees would be the easiest to find, and you don't have to wander into anybody's yard or anything.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe it could be like there's a list of 10.
Mhm.
And maybe a list of 10 locations, and you have to identify which one
Yeah.
is where.
So maybe like the day of the event, we do like a informational walk and then the side quest for like the Thanksgiving weekend or
I
Or
thought
is
we
like-
could just skip the Thanksgiving thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Random intrusive
good.
thought.
No, I think it's a good idea.
so.
but-
If you identify streets by tree leaf shape, and
Good.
they get their outline, and then you send them on a walk, and at the end, if they've found which street, like maybe they have 5 leaves they're looking for in 10 streets or something, and if they match, I don't know, that's,
Or we could pick a park, and that way we tell people they're all in this park.
then I lose my street tree connection, like how did the street trees
Or it could be street trees
look?
at the park,
Yeah,
or across the street from the park.
yes, okay. All right,
Just
Uh,
ideas.
so we'll have to, okay, so we need to find a way to link up and organize that to get a brochure. I don't, a brochure right now would be, join us for, and then a good date before tree leaves drop would be when,
I mean, it varies. I'm not sure that it has to be before the leaves drop, just before they all get cleaned up.
yeah, Well, or when the red maples come down when, they're like the first, aren't they? And they drop all together.
I think the ash might be first.
Okay.
Maple's early.
But when they're out and super pretty,
Late September,
oh, too soon.
early October.
So we,
I mean,
Put
the
out a
maples
picture.
over by the middle school have already started changing and it's early.
so we want something by that first weekend in October? The next one's a holiday, right?
I think
That gives us 3 weeks to put it together.
We do the first weekend.
Right, 14th, and then,
So if I'm following this, it sounds like we're talking about maybe, and the city could, make a brochure or a flyer that we would be copying off for you to hand out at the farmer's market booth on Sunday. So far, so good. And that content of that flyer would be really advertising an upcoming event, tree event to what are we thinking that the tree event itself is going to be? Find the tree or identify the tree exercise activity for families, something like
it's gonna
that.
be really hard in the fall.
yeah.
The more I think, the more I don't like this idea.
Okay.
If we had it ready to roll out now, it would be perfect.
Mhm.
But
Okay, another one is, okay, there's the one they do in Olympia, the tree bath. You can all go around the trees and
Mhm.
tree bathing.
Tree bathing.
I haven't been to that event yet, but seems like an easy one to put on. And then, tree bathing, and what about Heritage Tree Walk? So just picking 5 of the potential nominees, come see our nominee.
You could do that. I mean, I'm just going to throw out, since we're brainstorming too, it's like, I wonder if, so the market, when we started the discussion, was really trying to keep getting the messaging out about having people care for their street tree.
I'm
And
sorry,
so-
my son's trying to pick up a car. It's out front.
And so the, watering trees on the planting strip is kind of what I heard
In here.
Commissioner King
I know
say.
you
And
have to come. get
I
it.
wonder if
Okay.
maybe then that messaging could be tied into the activity,
Okay.
which would be to take a
Inside City Hall.
street walk, an urban tree walk with your family on a certain day, and be able to point out the stress of these trees at the end of this season, because they weren't cared for, and maybe that messaging of how to care for trees, now they have something real life besides just words on a piece of paper. Just throwing that out there.
yeah,
That's what I want, the connectivity to the care and the street trees. That's what I want.
that also would be easier to do in the spring.
Yeah, although they're really suffering right now is the one thing, there's,
Yeah,
but,
if it's kind of the same thing, if we had it ready to go
mhm.
this month or next month, we could probably do it. But I think
Well, there's another market. No, this is the last one?
Mhm.
Oh, I thought there was one in October. No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's our last market.
So,
oh, what we could do. The scavenger hunt is to find stressed street trees.
Oh, yeah. That's,
And then we get a list of what trees are in poor condition.
well, that's part of our, I mean.
But
that
then
was
again,
part-
it's the homeowner supposed to take care of it. So I don't even know what we do with that.
yeah, I don't either.
No, I think the survey is going to be the first way to, we're going to ask people did you know, or, whatever our questions become on the survey, just exactly like Mike did in Tacoma, to figure out, because they don't know. And they've been told that it's the city, right? The realtors
Mhm.
told them it was the city. People are surprised when, well, no, it's your tree. And so getting that messaging out is critical, and it's a huge shift we have to make. And we're going to start it by preparing the ground with questions.
I just had an idea.
Go for
Sorry,
it.
people asking questions. It stems from what you said. Have you heard of, they do these online, it's called Ask Me Anything.
Okay, no.
Like celebrities will do it, or experts in certain fields. What if at the farmer's market, we had an Ask an Arborist where anybody can write down their question and then, or ask the tree commission. And then,
I like asking arborist better.
but yeah, and then
What if we advertise that?
we
Can that
post
start?
all the questions and the answers to them online.
And have like a coffee here and answer all the questions?
I think that would be fun.
Okay, that sounds like, now you can't, when is your baby due?
End of October.
See, this is not weather dependent
I
either,
know.
so.
We could also just get him the questions and you can help us answer them.
Yeah.
and
But it
then
could be,
we
he could
can
be,
post it.
the arborist could be remote on a Teams, could be remote.
I mean, I'm still gonna be in town.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
just how coherent will I be?
could. Yeah, good point. I was just thinking, I mean, that's kind of sounds like a fun idea. They ask the arborist, but then you could get, I mean, we have to make this manageable, right?
Mhm.
What's the nice part of people submitting questions is you can kind of vet them
Yeah.
before we post them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if people are asking the same question, you can condense them. If the question doesn't make any sense, you can just skip it.
well, that's why you'd have them come in, write down their question, you'd have a panel to go through the questions, and you'd have a mixer while we were doing that, and then you'd sit down, and you'd come out in your tree suit and say,
Arborists don't wear tree suits.
we need a tree mascot. Come meet the tree
I
mascot.
thought we would maybe get the questions at the farmer's
Yeah,
market.
that's a great
Like,
idea.
leave a
You
sheet
start getting
out
the
for-
questions
yeah.
there, but you're not gonna get that. But
Mm.
there's ways to do it, just like League of Women Voters, you just drop it in the box when you get here, and we just finagle through it. So nobody's asking live questions at all.
Yeah,
ever.
you don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do not want that.
Would this
And then you'd
be-
have a reader, somebody reading the questions that were
Exactly,
vetted. And then the
exactly. It's a really
response.
good model what they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And yet people feel heard, which is the important thing. And we find out what they're thinking. That's doable by mid-November. It has to be before December. So we could ask for the questions, and we could give them a place to drop questions off as well if they have them after the farmer's market.
We could put like some kind of a box out in the front.
Yeah. What do you want to ask an arborist? And then the event would be our Arbor Day thing.
Okay.
And if you can't do it, maybe Mike will do it. I mean,
I mean, if I can get to question, if I can't show up to the physical event, I could still like answer the questions and then just send it
yeah.
in to you.
and we
And
can-
if we're saying ask an arborist, it has to be answered by an arborist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So, I think it'll work. Hmm?
Good.
Kind of a cool
Okay.
idea.
So now we're on to, we want a flyer with questions we need to generate very, very quickly, which is what Kelsey's really good at. And then we need the date that we're going to put on there, which that's, is Veterans Day then? We don't want to be on a holiday.
So, if November 10, yeah, that's that your regularly scheduled November meeting would fall on November 10th, which is Veterans Day, isn't it?
Oh, so we need to move that anyway.
I think it is. I don't, November,
says
it's on the
Veterans
11th?
Day,
Okay,
so-
so the 10th would be okay.
The 10th would be okay?
Yeah, because Zach said the 11th is Veterans Day, so the 10th
Okay.
is okay.
Oh, and that's a Monday, right? Is that-
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Wow, so. even
yeah,
the
thank you,
same-
Zach. So it could be scheduled for on your regularly scheduled meeting on November 10. And it
Yes,
might get more people involved in your meetings, which would be kind of nice.
Yes. And, yeah. We can submit our own questions
Mhm,
Can.
answered.
mhm.
Okay. That seems doable. So we just need to come up with a flyer.
And well, we can do the flyer. I do have
Okay.
somebody that's a temp employee that's helping me out with some things, and she is really good at making flyers so we could make the flyer, but we are gonna need you to tell us what like you said, asking questions, unless you just want to have the flyer be more of an advertisement for this event and how they can submit their questions.
And how they could submit, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have, and it could be, do you have questions about heritage trees, street trees? I mean, we could give them a little prompt, there's a lot
maybe
of trees and, ROA trees, city tree, you could have it scattered on there just to prompt people, like, I never thought about that. What is it?
Yeah, so maybe just a couple of prompts then,
Mhm.
which
And see
would-
what we get for questions.
Yeah, and so do we want to, what would the prompts be? Maybe, have you ever wondered, or do you want to, can we quickly talk about what those prompts might be, or do you want
Yeah.
to email those?
Well, yeah. Have you ever wondered, why Oregon oaks are protected? Have you ever wondered,
Do I need to prune my tree?
do I need to prune my tree? Yeah. Do I need to water?
Yeah.
Water and or prune my tree, and when?
Mhm.
Okay, there's a couple. I like the why Oregon oaks are protected.
What fruit tree should I plant? Oh,
What's this white stuff growing on the tree? It's lichen.
What's this?
I actually get asked that one a lot.
Do you? My
yeah, because
tree?
people think it's a disease.
Yeah.
Oh, what are the holes in my tree?
Mm-hmm.
Why does my tree have holes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've
Uh-huh.
got quite a few. So we've got, why are Oregon oaks protected? Do I need to water and or prune my tree, and when? What is this white stuff growing on my tree? Why does my tree have holes?
Mhm.
We could
Why do we have
well, she
street
could put, like,
trees?
Why do we have street trees?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
In general, in the abstract.
That's pretty good. We could,
Yeah.
have like little thought bubbles, like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
my tree lifting my sidewalk?
No.
Let's not ask that one.
We're gonna get that question. We will get that question.
will get
I
that
want to
question.
cut down my tree.
Why can't we
'cause-
cut down my tree?
Yeah, and we have to come up with we got a month to come up with the answers.
Okay, so we can prepare a flyer and we'll send it to, we can't have like a running meeting. So who on your commission would like to receive it and approve it for printing?
The flyer.
Mhm.
I guess I could.
Yeah, so we send it to you.
Yeah.
We'll send you the draft. And then you can approve it, and then we can print it out and then have it ready for somebody to, or we could even actually, Amy could just have it with her and her stuff, so that when one of you comes to set up the tree spot on your booth,
Yeah.
it'll be there. And
Okay.
actually, it can be there whether or not you're there or not. It could be a
Yeah.
handout. Okay.
We say, like, questions need to be submitted by 1st of November,
Yeah, let's
just
get
so
to
we're
that.
not getting
Yeah.
wild cards at the last second.
Yeah.
By November 1. And now we need to tell them how.
Um,
There's a Dropbox. We can have a Dropbox at City Hall in the,
yeah, you could, did we get the email sorted out or not?
we don't
No.
have an email.
Okay.
Dropbox at City Hall in the foyer. I know emails are a good way of doing it. Or email question. I don't mind having the email, the
Okay.
questions sent to
Do-
me, or we could, yeah.
Like a online survey of some kind?
I
Well,
don't
that
have the
was-
stat. We could create that. I just don't know if I have the staff.
Yeah.
Right now it has time to do it.
Maybe the Dropbox would be best then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So think maybe having like a box at the farmer's market too.
Yeah.
And just little slips of paper.
Well, that's
so
why,
they can-
yeah, that people can write them down there.
and then I don't mind putting my email on this. So if they did email it, I would just print it out and put it in the box for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
As long as they don't expect, yeah, I'll just say received and put it in the box. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't have to put this on anything, but in general, if it's too specific about detailed tree care,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm not going to answer that, particularly if it's about tree risk.
Right.
Well, that's where we're gonna say you have to have a relationship with your own arbor.
They-
If you have
they ask
trees like
something
that.
I'd just say you need to hire a professional.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
glad you asked that.
And we also,
Get that out ahead of time.
yeah, and we also can't promote a professional for you. We can't give you a recommendation either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a website to find certified arborists, and that's what I usually send people.
Exactly. That's what we.
Because it's not a recommendation, it's just a list of who's a certified arborist.
Mhm.
There are people doing, have you seen, I mean, because the ROA assessed people and sent out a whole bunch of stuff and people are, I saw somebody lift their own sidewalk. cut.
Oh, really? Oh, dear.
Yeah, people have gone, taken things into their own hands in a big way.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think this is really great. We have this plan for this attendance at the fall market with this education that continues sort of this messaging and a way for engagement that then ties into an Arbor Day event. So good work, you guys.
yeah, I think we've, that will be an accomplishment because we got to stay Arbor Day ready.
We didn't
The-
have to spend any money.
Without spending any money, yeah. The tree
yeah.
canopy assessment, so obviously I've been gone and I haven't connected with Kelsey yet. And we're supposed to meet back with the DNR folks. And right now, because I missed 5 days of work from COVID, which I heartily say get the booster because this was like pre-vaccine COVID. Oh, it was bad. So I need to get, Kelsey and I'll get back in touch with these guys once I'm back on track at work.
Okay.
She had mentioned at the last non-quorum
Yeah,
time, there's a free online program called iTree.
yes, that was what,
She was looking into. I have not used it a lot, so I can't speak to it.
DNR is willing to come in and train us how to do it using iTree. We've got a whole thing. We just need to get back and meet with them again. And they want to look at what we already, well, they sent us what they have, that we have. And again, that's where I noticed that we don't have any of the species for Palisades Village, probably because they were in the original development. There was so much done on when they were making Palisades Village that it's probably listed there somewhere. So they didn't survey it. So we either need to find that because that's a big missing piece in the middle of it. And then they were going to show us how to use it and talk to us about how you maintain it because it's no good if we do it and there's no system for maintaining it and how we would outline it as a function of the advisory commission. So,
And so maybe that training could be scheduled on one of your regular meetings, or we could do a special meeting.
yeah.
to have that training be done here with that person.
Okay.
Where's Palisades Village?
Palisades Village is where the Clock Tower Park is and runs down here to City Hall. So, and it also actually weirdly includes the condos on the other side of Center Drive, which is kind of weird.
Oh, that whole big area.
Yeah, we're
We
the
don't have any
original,
data for that.
sorry?
We don't have any tree data for that.
Not that I saw. It was for everything else, for Hoffman Hill. And so they sent me two things. And we couldn't find it in there. So, but I'm not an adept user yet, so we'll get back with them. And but it did look like, yeah, you know, a layman could use it. And also under community involvement, we can send groups of people out to look and see and then verify for chunks of canopy. So that was the other idea for, you know, that got community involvement and data on the condition of trees. And obviously that's a little bit longer of a project than we were anticipating because we both had things going on. But it's on my to-do list. The work plan is, it's not attached.
No, it isn't. I just put it on here because we've mentioned it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly where we are. I mean, I've definitely felt like a work plan discussion should be starting in September for the year, upcoming
Okay.
year. And
So we'll say it's a fiscal year
well,
work plan.
I think, hasn't it been in the past? Hasn't it gone from?
I thought it was a calendar year, but I mean, the fiscal year is fine too, because that's where we're at. You know, a September to September kind of.
Well, or you could just, I mean, talk about it now for January, so make it a calendar year, maybe that,
Yeah.
you know, get this 2026 calendar work plan figured out, because there's a lot of great ideas, and I feel like honing in on those and really figuring out what can be done so you can work on them and the details in the new year would help
Yeah.
you get stuff done, right?
Yeah. So, do we want to, if we're talking about calendar year 2026, we could probably do it when Kelsey comes back, when
Mhm.
we're all back, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so we'll keep that on and we need the plan to look at for next year, like the
The
draft.
Yes, so we can, on the next agenda, can put the existing work plan spreadsheet that you had.
Yeah.
And then maybe, you know, we could mark it up and then revise I think it's in an Excel spreadsheet, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really tiny. So
it's really tiny. Yeah,
ledger size.
maybe a Word, yeah, maybe like a table in Word or something. I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Something that you can work with
It's too
easier.
small to even put notes next to
Mhm.
it. So, last item for, tonight is Heirloom Orchard. Before I do that, did we so I missed natural resources language, or did we?
I haven't really done much
Okay,
with any of that. I think
Okay.
I've kind of stalled out on that.
Okay.
To be honest, we really, the goals and policies that had started to talk about, I've stalled, but we really need to get that back on,
yeah,
so that we're, inserting those in the draft comp plan to in the recommendation before it goes to the city council. So let's, the goals and policies. We'll put on the next agenda, October agenda. And I'll just maybe bring a list. I know we've had some preliminary lists, but maybe if I can put together something, then you can critique it and, you know, revise it, add things
Yeah.
to whatever it is. But yeah, let's try and, even if it might be somewhat minimal at this round, it isn't, at least we could get something in there. We're running out of time, basically. We need to get
Yes.
this plan adopted by the end of the year. And, but I think even if we recognize that there's really not very much in the existing natural environment for the trees, tree canopy. And so if we could even get a couple of good goals in there, in this adoption and some policies underneath it, at least it's a start, and we can put on the work plan, building that language up through we can annually amend the comp plan.
We can
And then-
annually? Okay.
Yeah, and so that might be something that the tree commission wants to work on every single year and have that feeding into an annual amendment, because there's a lot of work to do, and we're not going to be able to do it all at once. But if we could just get it started, that would be something, right?
Okay. And
We maybe even have that as the first agenda item to make
Yes.
sure that we get that addressed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have questions
Oh,
about that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we have enough, because that seems like that's a pretty important thing.
very important.
it is.
So I
Mhm.
would like to make sure we have enough time to adequately address that next time.
Yeah, so maybe we really focus next meeting on that for the
Yeah.
whole meeting. Would you be okay with that, and not trying to do so many other agenda items? If that is our one agenda item, I mean, we could talk about that, and
Yeah.
ideally, at the end of our October meeting, feel good about the language, inserting a couple of really good, strong goals with some policies. And then we don't do anything else at that meeting in October.
Yep.
Because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, because some of it is even just, what does the process look like? What would it look like to do amendments in the next year?
Oh, yeah,
And just understanding that process and how
yeah,
we are a part of that.
right. Yeah.
Would we need to just make sure we do like a little blip of an agenda item for the Aston Arborist thing, if we're gonna do that the next month? Just
Okay.
make-
Just an update on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do on the October agenda, it'll just be goals and policies, and the update on the Arbor Day.
Yep.
Ask our arborist.
Okay. The next to last
'Cause-
is,
Because that was, because the questions we said would be submitted by November 1, and the actual Ask Our Arborist session would then fall on your November 10th meeting. Yeah, that's what I have, okay.
one of the prompt questions could be, what's happening with the orchard?
That's like loaded, like the whole sidewalk.
Just,
Just saying, right?
yeah. Well, it's,
No, I don't mind. I figured I'd put that on the agenda because I know that it was something you were asking about.
well, it's a bit, it's circling back around as a bit of a public relations thing too, and it does involve trees. And, it's, I mean, I never wanted to really be involved with it in the first place, and it keeps coming up. And, but I heard there were some developments and some, welding shut of things and all kinds of stuff. So,
There were no welders involved. Okay, are you ready to move on to 6.5? on your
Yeah,
agenda?
Yep.
The commission, the rest of you, ready? So I think we did good here in terms of, we have our October agenda set, which is awesome, and we have our fall market prepared, you know, what we want to do, and we have an Arbor Day event. So that was good
Yep.
work.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so the Heirloom Orchard update is that the city, well, first of all, we don't really know what to do with this heirloom orchard, right? We've, is it something that ought to be, the city council, not this city council, but historically, it just sort of became this thing that nobody ever really in leadership defined its importance or who, is it a historical asset? What is this heirloom orchard? It just kind of came into its own being. And then, so that is a question that has to be asked and answered in terms of who is going to be responsible and how will this thing be done. At one point, the suggestion was made to a very interested body, a group of folks who wanted to manage and maintain and take care of it, that if it would be wonderful for us to consider if they were to form a 501c3 like the community garden, then the city would likely entertain this idea of just turning that over under an agreement with this 501c3. That would be our, something that I think would work. It's worked well with the community garden, and it could work well in this case. So that's one suggestion that's been out there. But then in the meantime, we have a couple of things that were discovered. One is that one of the persons that had done a lot of volunteering had also sent soil samples. And we know that we have arsenic and contamination and some lead all throughout the city. Two of those samples on the data set that I received from this individual had some pretty high levels. But I don't really know enough about it because it wasn't done by somebody that is a professional to take these kinds of samples and to map them out and all the things that, you need to know. So the city is going to have the person that's doing the work for us out at the Old Fort Lake remediation do the soil sampling out there. So we actually, first of all, we have to understand, do we have contamination levels out there, not just in the orchard itself, but really for all of the Tolme area that have exceedances? Because if they do, then that really changes what we can allow people to be doing out there. And so, weeding and grubbing and the dirt and things we can't have that. So that's another unknown that we're trying to figure out. And then the other item that came up through all of this was the recognition that Tolme area, the orchard, there's some gap in the city's insurance for coverage. So we have to work that out. So all those things really led to potential risk to have people out there working. And so that's why we didn't, we just pretty much said, let's just close this off and get all this information that we need to get before we let people go and do work out there. So that's what's happening.
Okay. And we're actively trying to get that information.
Yes, but even at the end of this, we still have to think about the first question that I said is, what is this thing and what do we want to do with it? Right? Is it something that, again, should it be is it a historical asset that should be managed for its historical value? In that case, it's trees, but we're focusing on the history of these trees, not just on the fact that they are trees. Or is it that, I just don't know. There's just a discussion that has never really been threaded through. Everyone just feels like something should be done but who, what, where, when. So you have these fruit trees out there. They do get watered. that we mow around them. And so I know that there's some real concern that they are not healthy or that they need more care. But as far as that goes, if that's it, then we again need to figure out that there's a high value for the city and a priority for the city to spend money hiring somebody to care for them adequately. I mean, so there's just a lot of unknowns, and we also have to really look at the whole volunteer program overall and making sure that, you know, we're protecting those volunteers. We're following the what the city's insurance policy says we will allow volunteers to do and not do. And so, because if someone were to be harmed out doing what they thought was volunteerism that the city was allowing them to do, that could be, you know, that could be not good. Or even if you have volunteers out there that, you know, that something happens, then, I mean, this just all needs to be, it's not this movement to try and shut people out from helping, because we really do value our volunteers enough that we want to make sure that they're safe. If you're going to volunteer for the city, we want to make sure that you're not getting into something that is going to harm you, that we are aware of what it is that you're doing, that we've provided you with the appropriate protection, you know, PPEs, that sort of thing. And we've been really not thinking much about that. We've been until this all came to light. So this was really the catalyst to make sure that we're doing our diligence in terms of a city to protect all of the taxpayers here in DuPont from, you know, a lawsuit or somebody being harmed.
So,
The
oh,
concern there is because we don't know the potential levels of lead and arsenic from the Tacoma smelter plume and how that might affect volunteers volunteering.
That's exactly number one. Yes, it is. And then if we have volunteers that want to go out and volunteer and do things that our insurance company said small hands volunteers, not people going out with saws and, you know, and doing work that is, you know, with equipment that is not small hands. Small hands are people maybe raking leaves and watering. But so we have to make sure that we're falling within those guidelines also.
So I've always come back to, where does it belong philosophically
yeah.
in the city? What resonates with me about it, and I don't want any part of it, but what resonates with me is a guy can talk about it and 50 people show up to a talk. It has legs. It really could be an asset. And it does bring out people. You're one of the people. Kelsey, I think you're also interested. Everybody's interested in those trees. And so it's this thing that I don't want any part of, but it's a community involvement thing, or it could be a serious one. And so I do want to, I hope this is an active process and we're going to get somewhere with it, because as much as I don't want to, I hope a 501c3 does get formed, because I think it does need one. Or it can be a sub part of the history one if they're willing to do it. It is a historical area. So I've never seen something that so easily causes people to want to be involved, and we don't have a way for them to be involved, and that's frustrating to me. Or also limiting how they can be involved because of certain things. So anyway, we'll just check back in about it. I don't know how long it'll take to determine the answers to these questions, but
Right.
we'll just check back in.
You know, in the meantime, maybe we could also come up with some volunteerism around trees, because if I'm hearing you, there's an interest in people wanting to volunteer to do something with trees.
Well, it's particularly the apple trees, which particularly that the thing about that orchard, and I think it's because we don't have a grocery store, drives to Whole Foods and all these other places and drives past Kern Apple Orchard and goes, man, we could have that. And we could, except, as you have said, a lot of work. Fruit trees are a lot of work.
Yeah.
And the idea that they could be adopted by a family is great. You know, how Curran does it. It's a great community involvement thing, having your little apple squeeze. But there's just this massive philosophical question that needs to be answered first, and everything else will trickle down from there. And the arsenic questions need to be answered.
But to have something like a community orchard, it would need to clearly be defined. Is this a city asset?
Yes.
What can the volunteers do?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it sounds like those questions are still unknown.
Yeah, they're just now getting asked,
But
actually.
they've already been, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. They've already been asked in University Place and
Well,
in
I
other
think-
places.
I think what people aren't aware of at the current orchard in University Place is it just doesn't tick along and run itself on happy little
Right.
fairy wings, right?
Right.
There is a program and people contribute money
Yes.
to run the program.
Yeah.
So
It's a and
it's not just all free volunteer. The city is not paying for the maintenance and operation of the current orchard. It's
Right.
not, it's coming from people that are providing a membership to it. Now,
Yeah.
are we going to have that interest? I don't know, but you also have to think about like, that's a whole infrastructure running, you know, developing a new program in itself.
But it is citizens doing the work.
But the city is very clear about this is our orchard, this is our program.
Yeah.
And to be part of our program, these are the things that you will and will not do. And part of it is you pay some money, you show up on the days that we tell you you're going to show up,
Yeah.
and you do what we have scheduled to do.
There may be enough interest here to drive that.
I definitely think it's a cultural thing more than just wanting to be involved in something. I think the draw is the historical aspect and to like continue something that has been here for so long. So I think if we could set up a program like that, I think you could get members because I do really think that's the draw
Yeah.
of it is making sure that we have those historical trees that we're taking care of. So.
It sounds like that would be something that a 501c3 would handle.
Mhm.
But it's kind of just voicing something that I'm thinking about. I'm not meaning to step on anybody's feet, but it almost seems like this is not something that we as the tree commission should be discussing, even if it is we as people might be involved in it elsewhere.
Mm.
It's just, I'm kind of caught up on this thing where it seems like it's not our thing. It's inappropriate for us to be discussing it in this venue.
I would like this to be our last discussion about it. It was foisted on us 2 years ago and they tried to put it in our lap. And I have been sort of pushing back. It's a dual thing. I've been pushing back against it because I don't think it belongs here. But on the other hand, I see that it belongs once they decide it's a historical thing with some trees in it. And so that's where I'm at, but I'm with you. I would like this to be the end of the orchard discussion for this group.
May even, and this might be divisive motion, that we table this until there is a reason for us to be involved in it. Whether that's by a 501c3 creating itself and then asking for the tree commission to do education on tree stuff, but it just seems like it's not.
How about we move that
Discussed.
it is our opinion and we can, it is my opinion that it is a historical park. And that's why it doesn't belong in the tree commission. It's a historical area. I mean, you want to put it here because it's trees, but philosophically, how do we figure out where it's at philosophically? Because
Well, that is really a policy. So we're really getting into the policy of the leadership here. It is the city council's role to determine
Okay.
really that.
so until that's determined, I think we would table.
Yeah, I think unless they ask for the tree commission to be involved in some
Mhm.
way, we should not try to insert ourselves, even though some of us may be involved personally outside of this.
I encourage you to join Friends of DuPont Washington Trees on Facebook, and you might meet other like people, which is the other thing, you know, like hearing from Mike and a whole bunch of people that the tree commission needs its own 501c3 as well to get things done, which seems really weird to me that trees need, but that's a whole other discussion. I want to move on to, unless you have anything else,
I was
to,
just gonna motion that we table the heirloom orchard discussion for the time being.
do we need a motion for that, or can we just,
Mostly, I don't really want it to be on the agenda again because it seems like we talk in circles and it's just wasting our time.
that's how I felt about the yellow golden chain tree or whatever that was. Yeah, so that's what I say. Do we need a motion to do that? Table it until the philosophical discussion has been had?
I think, I don't know that it really needs to, because it's, if you were tabling it, you were tabling something that you've already determined is something that you are supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
But I don't feel like we've got that. I mean, I think just in this conversation, we recognize on these transcripts that you're voicing that this doesn't really belong until the city council directs you to take this
Yeah.
item up. But
Great.
yeah,
I'm excited about this one. What is this? 7.1, new commissioner appointment.
so tomorrow there's going to be an appointment of a new tree commissioner. It's on the agenda. I just wanted
Okay.
you all to be aware of that. The city council meeting tomorrow contains that as a new appointment. So we did have, I think Commissioner Clark actually talked somebody into sending in their request or application to serve, and that this person has been vetted, and the mayor has that on the agenda to appoint a new tree commissioner.
Fabulous.
So just wanted you to know that we might actually be full after tomorrow night.
Excellent.
You know if this person was from the farmer's market?
Yeah, it's that same person. Mhm.
Okay. Farmer's market, go. It all paid off. Okay, any other comments for tonight?
Oh, sorry, side note, I thought, I know I've seen information cards on some of the trees before, just talking about what kind of trees they are. So really quick, I was just had an idea that maybe we could also do that for like tree care, or like, do you know you need to take care of this tree or something like that?
Like a tag?
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes people might not find, might not be going to the city website, or might not be going to the farmer's market, or just another way to get information out there. But
I'm trying to, it's like
Good
we're
idea.
hanging a tag on their tree. I'm thirsty.
yeah, water me.
Water me.
Let the trees talk to you.
Little heart, I'm yours.
Love me, love me. Love me and water me, please.
A sign program or something that when we come to the work plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out
Yeah,
there.
no, I think we've talked about it a couple of times.
So I just wanted to say, so we've got our October agenda, goals and policies, the update on Ask Our Arborist. Our November agenda would be the Ask Our Arborist, and then December would be your work plan. It's kind of how I think this is going to lay out for you all.
Yep. Do you have something else? Chris? Okay. This meeting with 6:15, meeting's adjourned.